Highlander, The Immortal Legacy of the MacLeods by Andries. Below.
Screaming, howling, fervently, blood on ancient stones, echoes of a warrior's cry. Bones beneath the throne, castle shrouded in mist, ghosts of battles past, legacy carved in granite, legends built to last. Burning eyes in the night, neath eternal light. Shadows dance with the flame, Highland scream their name. Steel flashing in the dark, warriors rise and fall, echoes in the cold wind, answering the call. Ancestors whisper low, secrets lost in time, history.
Episode 7, Ancient Hearts, Modern Grief. The Highland soil was still fresh on Duncan MacLeod's grave as Jacob placed the last stone in the cairn built above it. Following Highland tradition, they had buried him beside Anna, husband and wife united in death as they had been in life. The morning mist clung to the ground, wreathing the two graves in an ethereal shroud. The buzz of immortal presence washed over both Jacob and Mythos moments before Cassandra emerged from the mist. She wore black, her timeless beauty marked by grief, her ancient eyes fixed on Duncan's grave. Without a word, she knelt between the cairns and placed a sprig of heather on each.
All the centuries have passed me by, with sword and honor my spirit high. 500 years of wandering wide, where mortal men have lived and died. From Clan MacLeod to distant lands, blood and thunder beneath my hands. A Highlander who could not age, battling through each historic page. No quickening could break my soul. Through wars and peace I played my role. The game of immortals cruel and long, echoes of loss in this mournful song. No quickening could break my soul. Through wars and peace I played my role. The game of immortals cruel and long, echoes of loss in this mournful song. Soft pipery could break my soul. Through wars and peace I play my role. The game of immortals cruel and long, echoes of loss in this mournful song. Soft pipe refrain, my brother's fallen, my lover's gone, yet still I walk where time moves on. A witness to humanity's rise, carrying memories behind these eyes. Oh, Duncan MacLeod, the Highlander's pride, your legend forever shall abide.
I remember the first time I saw him.
She said softly, her voice carrying the weight of centuries.
It was in the winter of 1592, during the birth that should have killed him.
A sad smile played across her lips.
I was there as a midwife, having foreseen his coming in a vision. The babe was Breach, his mother dying. But even then, his warrior spirit fought against death.
Jacob sat beside her, hungry for any story of his father.
You knew him even before his first death.
I watched over him from afar.
Cassandra admitted.
I saw him grow into a proud young warrior of the clan. When he faced his first death in 1622, I wanted to be the one to teach him, to guide him.
Her fingers traced the stones of the cairn.
But the Highlands needed Conor MacLeod then, not me. And Duncan needed a teacher who could forge him into the warrior he would become.
Methos stood behind them, his ancient eyes distant.
You loved him,
He said simply. It wasn't a question.
For nearly 600 years,
Cassandra replied, no trace of shame in her admission.
through his trials with Calice, his battles with your old brotherhood Methos, through every challenge and triumph,
She looked up at the ancient immortal.
even when I hated you most, when I wanted vengeance for what you and the horsemen did to me, Duncan's wisdom stayed my hand.
the 4 horsemen,
Methos's voice grew heavy with memory.
my brothers, Kronos, Silas, Caspian. For 1,000 years, we were death on horses. We ruled, we killed, we lived as gods among men.
He placed a hand on Cassandra's shoulder, a gesture that would have been unthinkable centuries ago.
And like you, I lost them all. Kronos and Silas to Duncan's blade, Silas to my own. The brutal truth of living so long, we always lose those we love.
5,000 years.
Cassandra mused, touching Methos's hand briefly.
We've watched empires rise and fall, seen gods born and die, and still,
She looked at the fresh graves.
each loss cuts as deep as the first.
Jacob listened intently, trying to reconcile these ancient beings' memories with the father he had known.
He never spoke much about the past,
He said.
about the horsemen, about the prophecies, about any of it.
Because he lived in the present.
Methos replied.
It was his greatest strength. 5 centuries of life, and he never let the weight of years bitter him. Never let power corrupt him as it did Jupiter, or grief destroy him as it did so many others.
Jupiter.
Cassandra's voice hardened at the name.
I've seen him in my visions, Jacob. The path ahead is shrouded, but I see blood and lightning and...
The roar of a motorcycle cut through the morning mist. Jupiter's black bike skidded to a stop at the edge of the property, his leather jacket gleaming with dew. Before anyone could move, he had thrown something that thudded into Duncan's cairn, a ceremonial dagger with a letter attached.
See you soon, young MacLeod.
Jupiter's voice carried back as he gunned the engine.
The game's almost over.
The bike roared away, leaving only the echo of his laughter. Jacob pulled the dagger free, unfolding the letter with trembling hands. Methos and Cassandra moved closer, their ancient eyes alert for any further threat.
What does it say?
Cassandra asked, though her expression suggested she already knew.
3 days,
Jacob read aloud.
where it all began, where your father showed mercy and sealed all your fates. Bring the witch and the ancient one if you wish. It won't matter. There can be only one.
He crumpled the letter in his fist.
He wants to end this.
No,
Methos said grimly.
he wants to break you, to destroy everything Duncan MacLeod built, everything he believed in.
The ancient immortal's hand fell to his sword.
The question is, what are you going to do about it?
Jacob stood, looking between these two beings who had walked the earth for 50 centuries, who had loved and lost and endured. Then he looked at the fresh graves of his parents, at the highland mist that had welcomed so many generations of MacLeod's home.
I'm going to show him
Jacob said softly.
exactly what it means to be Duncan MacLeod's son.
The morning wind carried the scent of heather across the graves, and somewhere in the distance, thunder rolled across the highland hills. The final battle was coming, and with it, the chance to prove whether Jacob MacLeod truly carried not just his father's knowledge, but his wisdom as well. 3 days. The countdown had begun.
We're coming through the rain.
Highlander, the Immortal Legacy of the MacLeods. Video and voice done with Infinity AI. Research done using Claude AI.